Okay, so let me just explain this. Look at Anastasia's piece here. We're going to take a look at building something like this really fast. So what I'm going to do is I could even start with, for the sheer fun of it, because you probably haven't seen it before, splines, freehand. We're going to make a chunk in here. Let's make it a specific size, though. What I'm going to do first, actually, I'll make a rectangle just so I know I'm not making it crazy big. And how many meters may this need to be? So I'm system units in centimeters. I'm going to set this to meters, let's say, because it's going to be a big piece. It'd make more sense. How many meters do you think this would be, like a chunk of this? Maybe 3 by 3 meters? Something like that, probably. Sound good, Anastasia? Maybe,
Yeah,
right?
kind of.
It's like a 3 meter by 3 meter slab of rock we're going to make. Okay. I'm going to take the freehand tool and I'm going to make so it's about that big. I'm just going to convert that over to a spline and 3 on the keyboard. And I think there's a close. Where's that? If you see it, please tell me where it is. There it is, close. Close. Yeah, so now it's closed. It's a closed shape, okay? That's got a lot of vertices in it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and add an extrude modifier, and we're going to extrude it down, okay? Let's say a chunk of land like that. But what you're going to see is there's a whole lot of segments to that, right? So that's a problem. So if I go down to editable spline, just show end result, go to interpolation, I could reduce that, but it's still a lot going on there, right? So we may not need to worry about that too much because you're going to see what I'm going to do in a minute. I'm just going to leave that down at 0 so that we've got that. We could also optimize the spline, so I could go and add X and optimize, no, what's it called again? Oh God, interpolate spline. And why is this not finding? And what the hell's going on? It's finding some weird stuff. Spline. Oh, you know why? Because show end results on. No, I'm losing my mind. See, this is what happens when I do tutorials. Spline. Why? Oh, normalized spline. It's because I am losing my mind. So what normalized spline does, if we turn off show end result here and we say show knots, you'll see that what it's doing is saying segment length between them. So it's actually rebuilding the spline with a different amount of knots. I'm going to say knot count, and I can pick and choose sort of how many I want along there because we don't want that many, right? And then, of course, we've got this now. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe I want a taper modifier on that. And I want to not taper it that much. I want to taper it a bit. And I'm going to go grab the center point of the taper and move it in the middle. So that's the, center point. Maybe so it's something like that. We could leave it straight as well. Maybe we don't need it. We'll see what we need, right, when we get over there. That kind of look what you're maybe after?
Yeah, maybe it's a bit rounded as I imagined, but
okay.
Good.
So you could easily do it yourself and come up with a solution, right? To come up with a chunk of ground that's a little unique. Maybe you make one side sort of more smooth than the other side. So when you rotate it, you've got smooth bits and flat bits or something, right? So you could work on it like that. So I'm also going to go and add the retopology modifier here. And with retopology, I'm going to make this come out neat and tidy. Now, this is actually going to make a bloody mess. You're going to see why. So I'm going to, it's actually not bad. Oh, surprise, surprise. So the retopology modifier will try and retopo it, evening out, because if you notice without it, we've got no polygons on top, but they are there. Everything is always triangles. So it is an absolute disaster on top. So if we actually drop in here and say edit, look at all the triangle lines. I don't know if you can see that. Let me make it darker. See? They're there. They're always there, right? So retopology is getting it nice and square for us. So now we can actually say, you know, let's get it down as low as possible. Maybe something like that, right? We could do something with a retopology modifier on meshes like this. Sometimes it doesn't like producing a very good result when there's sort of the polygons are really uneven to begin with. So what you want to add is, God, I just forgot the name of it again. See, it isn't your guys' names just that I forget. It's stuff like this. Not tessellate. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm going to lose my mind. Not the tessellate. Subdivide. So if we use subdivide, it'll make this just god-awful mess, which in fact really doesn't matter because everything is triangles to begin with. So that's totally valid. It's just not kind of as even as we want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this down, type the numbers in, 0.05, because if you drag it down too low and it'll just hang max. So now that that's more even, if we go back to the retopology and just do a recompute, sometimes you'll get a cleaner result if you stick that subdivide in there. Not really, but whatever. So we've got this, okay? Now what I'd like to do is add a bit of shape and form to the sides here. Let's make it look a little more interesting. I'm just going to right click and convert to poly. Freeform tools, pick my shift tool, dock that stupid thing, change it from depth to spherical, and I could just go around and just, you know, just break it up a bit more. If you want, we could break the edge a little bit, break the top a little bit, whatever you want, right? Sound good?
Yeah.
So far, so good, right? So we've got this chunk of land now. We want to call that by our naming convention, which is going to be static mesh underscore ground underscore 01 underscore pen for my initials that I've asked for on the ends of things. Okay, so we've got this here. The other thing, if you notice, I think right now the pivot's over here. That's a really bad spot for the pivot to be. So I'm going to hit insert and let's move the pivot to the middle top. You could go the middle bottom if you want, but I'm just going to go top and I'm going to stick it in the middle there and just insert back off again. So if you're going to use, and this is something that's in my tutorials, if you want to use this game exporter, the one thing you've got to make sure you do is always move your model to the center of world space by typing in 000. I find that a real pain in the butt. Okay, so that's why I've got that script that I talk about in another one. But I'll use this one for now. Export what? Just the selection to where I've got a folder that I've got my computer in here, working files, exports, and so that's going to be my folder. And then I got to put the name in again. Mine will take this name, but this one won't. So I'm going to drop that in there, and I'm going to export it. Export successful. You guys good so far? That stuff's in the tutorials. You guys good so far? Right?
Yeah.
Over to a static mesh folder, right click, import. Import for my working exports. Where did it go? Ground right there. So here it is here. For now, this should just probably all be defaulted. Import, there's my model. Okay, so there's my model. We're going to texture this one here. Okay, and we're going to put a texture on this. So if I open this, you can see there's the material I want to add, right? So we're going to make sure these have got textures so that we're just, the reason being is if I keep adding the texture here, the materials into here, then every time I drag one out, I've got to rematerial it. I'd rather just have it materialed, drag it out, it's done. Okay, and I can just keep doing that. And this is why I had the pivot on top, because if I want to layer them close to each other, I can just drag them onto one another and they're going to drop in there. All right, and then just rotate them, scale them, whatever you want. You know, you want it taller, I'll do that and move it up. And we're going to have a cliffside going here. Maybe this one going down.
So that's like what we have to do for the next week. Just add simple materials and basic assets.
Yeah, start building, start blocking it out. But you can see how fast I got here. And I'm already starting to block your level out. So do you want to see a quick material?
Yeah, like you showed it already, I guess.
Yeah, I've got it already. So I've got these, you know, there's a world align material that I can add, you know, on this asset and then change the textures. I think I already, and again, it's in tutorials. So I'm going to go and say, oh, let's go make an instance of that. World align. I'm going to say create material instance, and world align, and I'm going to hit F2, and I'm going to call this material MI for material instance, ground 01, let's say, underscore pen again, and so I should be able to add that now. MI ground 01, there is there. It's that ice texture, I guess I was doing, right? I was playing around with ice textures, so it's like this crazy see-through, which probably isn't what I want. So we are going to go in and open up our material instance and change the textures. Oh, I don't have the textures. Oh, there's the diffuse one. And so I want my stones on it. There you go. So now it's stones. Go back to the level. They're all stones. Now, for some reason, I got something really wacky going on.
We haven't made any textures yet, though. Or are we just pulling like base materials?
Yeah, you could just go with base materials. You could throw almost anything on them, a test one. Now I have a folder full of test textures you could throw on, but I never want to see those used in any finals.
Okay.
So
just for like visualizing?
Yeah, if you want to just use them for visualization stuff and for references to what to do. So in Blackboard, yeah, if you go to ooh, that booted me out. Courses there. UE4 assets, which has also got some max assets for scripts. And wait for OneDrive. Go into texture pack here, just download the entire texture pack, and there's a whole bunch of stuff I did. All right, you can use those as you know, testing at this point. Because again, what's nice is one, if you sort of think it through and think through the materials you're going to need, right, and have built stuff, then it's going to be really easy for you to add on to and everything. I don't know why this is.
Are there any like textures that come with Unreal Engine? Like
no, not when you load it. No, initially there's nothing in there. So I don't mind you using mine. Just drop them in there, but then get rid of them as you go. Delete them out and replace them with yours, right? That's kind of the reason why I put them in there, so you can see what is going on. Those are all inside out. That is just.
So we're not required to have anything textured right now because we don't have them.
No. Yeah, you're not. Let's get these put together. But what's great is you can start piecing your level together without any textures on them. So you could easily have that, just and start blocking it out. As soon as you texture this asset here, everything gets textured for you. And you can still override them, by the way, too. So any given one, you could stick a different material on if you wanted. But literally with those pieces right there, I should be able to get Anastasia's model like partly built, right?
Sounds great.
And then maybe, see, you've got some of these curved ones down here. Okay, so you want some curved ones. Let's take this. Let's go and throw the taper modifier on it. And let's curve it out like that. And let's export that out as the second one. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
It's done. It's totally done. We don't need to worry about it. Now, one of the things I would do, if you look at this, you can see this edge around it. If you want that, you might want it in this case because it's a pretty hard edge, but you might want to set smoothing groups to be totally smooth. And just, auto smooth to 180 and export it like that, but depends on what you want. Again, depends what looks good. You can do that. Get a bit more angles to it. Remember I said about re-importing and exporting? So file, export, game exporter, right over the same one to the same place, right? Export. Over to UE4 again, my asset, right click, watch all these update. So you can see how they're all straight, right click, re-import. Now they're not. Maybe that works better. Actually looks kind of cool.
How do you do ladders?
Leave those for now, but we can come back to them. You can. I'll have. I have blueprints. So the problem with ladders is they're easy to make, but how do you walk up a ladder, right? Everything is based on the idea that you're walking on flat ground effectively. But what I have then is, let me just go get a ladder. This is basically a ladder. See, I climb up it. There's a ladder. And so I've made ladders. Yeah, actually, my ladder does need to be angled right now. There's something wrong with it, but for whatever reason, it needs to be on a touch of an angle. But there's a ladder that's a rope ladder. And I can go to the top. Okay, so what my ladder is the world's simplest model. Where am I? Buildings, elevators. There's my ladder. World's most complicated model. It's 2 boxes and a cylinder with 6 sides.
I guess the same thing we can do with the stairs, so that it can be different sizes.
Yeah. In fact, if you need stairs, where is is it? That's geometry. You want stairs? Like this. Stairs. Stair length. Stair height. Step width. Number of steps. Need stairs.
Oh, and then we can add just simple texture and that's like unique stairs.
Probably, yeah. Tileable textures on it might work. Or what you want to do is you want to do something that is more like, so I've got these blueprints I've generated that allow me to be able to copy things endlessly on splines and stuff. So you'll see this is a spline again. And so I can actually go in and grab, and it's a bunch of them, but I've got this ability to go in and decide how many of something. Come on, instance data open. One. How many boards are along it. Randomize a whole bunch of parameters, and I'll show you one of my videos I think describes how to import these blueprints and bring them in. And so once you've got this blueprint in here, you'll be able to utilize it, drag and drop it, and just add stuff to it. So you'd be able to build steps. The other way is you make, a step and you copy the step. But it would be easier to do other tools, like I've got. And again, I'll build those like these steps right here. Those stairs there are it's the same tool. It's a spline. And so I can take take this and even totally mess with it, So it's just one of my spline tools. But again, I'll provide that with you. So when you get to things like stairs, it's one of those things. Paul, how am I going to do this? Well, right now, hold off. Let's ignore them for the moment, and as soon as we get to the point of having some brain space, we'll take a look at it, importing these and how to work with these. Make sense?
Yeah, cool.
Because those are a little instance on spline. Those are a little much for this class, if you can imagine. So yeah, unless your brain wants to go down this road, I'm not going to take you down the road of making these. So I'm going to get you to do some simple blueprints, really simple blueprints, like lanterns. Lanterns are pretty cool in this case, so you can see it there. But I've actually got time, speed, offset, intensity. So when I go in and I say, where is it? Play from here. You can actually see it pulsing. So that's like a setup of a bunch of stuff. It's actually it's two things. It's the lantern and a light, and then a bunch of math to make it work. And believe it or not, it's not as complicated as one might think. It just looks complicated. That one's complicated. But let's make a ladder like this. That's it.
So I have a path into
Sorry?
concepts. Should I just make like the assets that would be along the path, but not the set?
Sorry, that's Sarah talking there.
Yeah.
So what paths are you talking about?
Well, I was thinking since they're like posts with chain on them, that I could just like replicate it and make it kind of like a road path.
Right. And so you can do that real easy with this sort of tool. Right.
So should I make the assets now and hold off? Like,
yeah, you just need. So there's my spline. Come on. Let's make it longer. And I'm going to go and say, let's add some instance data. And let's go and add, what have I got? With posts somewhere. Post. Ah, there it is. There you go.
Okay.
How many do you want? And then I'm going to go add another instance data to it. And in this one, I'm going to go and add, what's it called, board or something? We'll add these boards for the fun of it. And then we will rotate those boards. Not sure which way. Go 90. I said 90. There we go. And remove the last one. So let's actually go -90. And then let's take the position up. And let's take the position out a bit. No, not that way, Paul.
Oh, that seems really easy.
Yep. And so then we need a top rail one. So we'll just add another instance data and do the same thing. I don't think, I don't know that there's a, oh, copy. Copy, paste. Oh, that did that. How about that? Nice. I don't think I've used that function. There we go. And then I've got some random rotations because, you know, we should have some randomized rotations on it. Just break it up a little bit and a little bit of random position so they're not all straight. And there you go.
Okay.
All right. So I can go and pull that out as long as I want, then add as many of these as I need. So I'm going to need 8 on that one and 8 on this one. And probably however many on this. There you go. Which means I can also wrap it around things and everything. So we'll be able to do stuff like that. And again, if the tools don't do it, I'll go in and I'll find a way to make it do it. You know, I can go in and reprogram it, which is kind of cool. Come on, why am I unable to grab that? Thank you. And I'll figure out how to rotate some of that stuff a little better. See, now you got me playing around with stuff.
So that blueprint will have to like download it into the file.
Yeah, so it's something that again is in that assets folder, these blueprints, and you just need to follow the instructions of installing them, which is dead easy. And they show up as these here. So I've got instance on spline, I've got the ladder, I think it's ladders in there. I've got this pipe builder for building pipes. And this one's kind of fun because you literally just, the pipe is just a piece of pipe, a straight piece of pipe. So it's literally a cylinder and a joint.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere there's a knot, it sticks a joint. Pipes. Simple as that. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
And you just need to make the pipe element, which is a cylinder with 6 sides or 8 sides, and a joint, which is a cylinder with 8 sides. That simple. Make them the right way around. That's the only thing is in some of it, the pivots have to be the right way around. But I know those ones are in there. And road builder's in there as well. And road builder's the same idea as the pipe builder. Really, it could be the same script, but There you go, a road. Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.